Thanks for staying. Now, the International Finance Corporation, IFC, and the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MIGA, all members of the World Bank Group, have now committed the $517 million in debt and guarantees to support Ghana's Sankofa gas project. The project is expected to produce about 30,000 barrels of oil daily from the second quarter of next year and about 180 million standard cubic feet of gas daily to generate about 1,000 megawatts of power from 2018. There's more in this report.
The $7.7 billion integrated offshore oil and natural gas project is to be developed by Vitol Ghana and ENI Ghana in partnership with Ghana's National Petroleum Corporation. IFC has committed a loan of $235 million to Vitol Ghana and arranging another $65 million in debt from the Managed Co-Lending Portfolio Program, a loan syndication initiative that enables third-party investors to participate passively in IFC's senior loan portfolio. The IFC financing is part of a $1.35 billion loan facility provided by commercial banks, including HSBC, Societe Generale, and Standard Chartered, among others. MIGA has committed these commercial lenders with up to $217 million in political risk guarantees. Government is to begin the review process with Italian multinational ENI and its partners this year, once the development cost of the project is ascertained, to maximize economic value of the resource to the country.
A baseline research conducted by the Western Region Coastal Foundation has revealed that oil and gas-related activities in the area have boosted the general business climate in the region. This, according to the study, has also led to a marginal decline in poverty. Kweku Osopepra has the rest of the story.
A preliminary study conducted by the Western Region Coastal Foundation has found that poverty is very prevalent in 3 of the coastal districts affected by oil and gas production in Ghana. The Nzima East, Elembele, and Jomoro districts were found to be the most deprived as compared to the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolis, Ahanta West, and the Shamar districts. Speaking to Joy Business on a baseline research to analyze the extent of poverty and business opportunities within the 6 coastal districts, Mr. Matthew Ama, team leader of the Western Regional Coastal Foundation, explained that though poverty is prevalent, communities are committed to making the investments in the programs and avenues which will improve their income level.
Poverty has dropped. I mean, that is, and now this research is basically a one-time event, is a baseline trying to see where the differences are. We're trying to look at the communities in which we are providing dialogue. These are the communities in which we are not providing dialogue. What we notice is that communities tend to get their information not from the website but from the radio, not from the newspaper but from the radio. So
the business community, led by Stefan Abbas Mieza, who is the chairman of the Western Region Chamber of Commerce and Industry, expressed the hope that with improved infrastructure development, members of the Chamber of Commerce can support business growth.
Out of the 6 coastal regions, if you take the infrastructure, it was about 80% of the worries of the people of the 6 coastal regions. And this is something that cuts across the whole of the Western region. So yes, this is important that government policymakers pick on it to see what they can do towards that direction.
For his part, the Takoradi District Chairman of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders says government should begin to institute measures that would regularize the freight rate for shipping lines which operate between the Tema port and the Takoradi port. Mr. Paul Kwabena Mensah says the high freight rate between the Tema port and the port of Takoradi continues to affect the shipping community and puts the port of Takoradi at a disadvantage.
As a country which is very small and 2 ports not too wide apart, there could be some policy for shipping lines that since they are not that wide apart, why can't you have one freight, both Tema and Takoradi, so that whoever brings goods to Takoradi port or goes to Tema port will going to pay the same freight rate.
He says, though the government is working to position the port of Takoradi as an oil and gas hub, the shipping community still needs to find innovative ways of conducting their businesses profitably in the port. Kweku Owusu-Pepra, Joy Business, Takoradi.
Away from that, leading electronics business retail outlet Samsung West Africa is assuring its Ghanaian consumers of the safety of their products. The assurance comes months after Samsung faced safety issues with its Galaxy S7 line of smartphones. Business leader Vishwan Saxena was speaking with Joy Business at the opening of the company's premium showroom in Accra.
The showroom is the biggest in Africa so far and stocked with the latest home appliances and mobile devices. Business leader of Samsung West Africa, Vishwan Saxena, emphasized the Samsung team had worked hard to ensure users derive maximum safety in the usage of their electrical appliances and mobile devices. The global Samsung brand became tainted following safety concerns on its latest Galaxy Note 7 mobile phones, compelling the company to recall the devices back into the factories.
The concerns are quite valid, but Samsung is an age-old brand. Samsung has been in Ghana for the last 25-30 years. And apart from the recent issue of the mobile phone Note 7, there have never been any products which have threatened the security and the personal lives of people. And Note 7 was an issue which fortunately didn't come to Ghana. And it's being tackled by the best engineers and the best technicians and the best team of Samsung in head office worldwide. And I'm sure we've taken care to mitigate the problems coming from Note 7. So I see absolutely no reason for people to worry about, not only from Note 7 point of view, but from the other point of view, other products point of view. Samsung products are absolutely safe.
Vishwan Saxena also spoke about sales after the just-ended elections. He said although business had slowed down ahead of the elections, it has picked up again after the elections ended.
Of course, election is always a period which is slightly tentative. Consumers are a bit worried about how it will go, etc. Maybe there'll be some changes in policies, maybe there'll be some economic changes, policy changes. So consumers are usually a little apprehensive around that time. But as soon as the election finished, we really wanted a fantastic Christmas for consumers. We know that because of election there was some apprehension. We would like people to come out now after elections are over. All the apprehension is over, so they would love to really see what we are doing.
Energy expert Ishmael Ejekumihene is calling on the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission to reverse the practice making domestic consumers of power pay higher bills than businesses. Ishmael Ejekumihene believes the trend could best be averted should power regulators devise appropriate methods to cushion businesses. He said he emphasized high utilities could plunge businesses into recession. He was speaking with Joy Business on the challenges the ECG faces ahead of 2017.
In Ghana, whereas elsewhere it's the residential consumers that end up subsidizing businesses, in Ghana it's the other way around. So you have the tariff for the non-residential customers to be higher than the residential customers. That has to change because the whole rationale behind that structure is that, look, these people are also providing business for the residential people to even have jobs. So elsewhere is the other way around. In Ghana, since 1998, the advent of PURC, it's been the other way around. So that will be a long-term restructuring and realignment of tariffs to ensure that the residential customers do pay more, because we are just using electricity for comfort and also for entertainment in most cases. So, but in the short term, I think that it's been clear. The government says they're going to, incoming administration, they campaign that they're going to take away the VAT. They also said that they're going to make sure that agreements that are not well structured and are not in our interest will be looked at again and all that. But I guess the reality is whether those contracts are, there are clauses in there that allow one to look into it again. Otherwise, we stuck with those agreements. So we only have to make sure that we are actually generating at levels that are not going to, if you have too many plants running on light crude oil. And now the signals are such that even on the world market, the crude prices are picking up now, following the cut in supply by OPEC. It means that it's no longer going to be $42 a barrel. We are now approaching $60 a barrel. If that development continues, then it means that more money will be required.
The Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, is urging consumers to be wary of sales promotions offering two products for the price of one this festive season. According to the authority, this is only to employ by some retailers to push unwholesome consumables on the market, especially during the festive season, while assuring the FDA is working out to fish out such retailers. The head of Agro Products and Biosafety Department, Roderick Dade, says consumers should also be on the lookout. He spoke with Beatrice Edu on News Desk.
These times, festive times, the don't call me. I mean, people buy one, get one free. People need to look at the expiry dates, check also, for example, if it's a canned product, is it bloating? Press it for the TikTok sound. You press it, you hear ka, 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 ka. I mean, they are all telltale signs that maybe this product is bloating. So we are actually depending on the public also. Consumer responsibility. People should play that role, should be up and doing, and then should know that the FDA is there. We are a friend. They should report to us if you have any suspicions. You don't want to cross the Food and Drugs Authority on these issues. I can tell you that our laws are potent. It's not that type of call where people say that, okay, the law is old, it's in shillings and the rest. It's not in shillings. You can get imprisoned. There are hefty fines that we give people every day.
Away from that, beverage manufacturing firm Accra Breweries Limited has put in place plans to mitigate the negative impact on production should any power crisis occur from next year. In an interview, Corporate and Legal Affairs Director of ABL, Ajoba Chama, noted the company has installed a power generating plant and also looking at a renewable energy source as a long-term plan. She spoke with Joy Business in an interview after a tour of the company's newly expanded packaging line in Accra.
There is no doubt that Ghana's manufacturing sector will continue to face challenges as a result of power inconsistencies and other unfavorable economic conditions. For now, some companies have registered their intention to lay off workers. Furthermore, many of the companies rely heavily on generators and power plants to mitigate any power problems. With the latest report by the African Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, on the likelihood of a return to the power challenges, Accra Brewery Limited said it has put in place measures to control any challenge that might come in the near future. Director of Corporate and Legal Affairs Ajoba Chama, in an interview, hinted the company is also looking at making use of renewable energy sources as a long-term solution.
When we went through the load shedding period, we put backup measures in place. So we installed 3 new generators, power generation equipment, and therefore we are ready for any eventuality.
Are you looking out for renewable energy as well?
Of course, I mean, it's a long-term objective, because it's more environmentally friendly, and it's one of our sustainable development ambitions. However, at this moment, we have other capital expansion plans, and therefore it's not in our short-term plans.
She spoke with Joy Business after taking some journalists on a tour of the company's expansion works, including a newly constructed packaging line and brewery plant for one of its major brands. She explains the rationale behind the expansion.
Business has been in existence since 1931, and therefore periodically we need to, of course, upgrade the equipment. And as demand has grown, the population has grown, demand has grown, we've needed to also expand. So it's more to meet consumer needs and then also to modernize our business.
The second phase of the project will include an installation of a solar-powered street light on site, the beginning of the long-term plan on renewable.
You're watching Business Live. We're taking a quick breather here. When we come back, BERTHA ATUBIGA, our stocks researcher, would update us on the performance of the stocks as the market closed for the week today. Thanks for staying. Welcome back to Business Live. We've now been joined on the line by BERTHA ATUBIGA research analyst from Gold Coast Fund Management, who is going to update us on how the various stocks at the stock exchange performed today as the market closed for the week. BERTHA, you're welcome to Business Live. All right, so we lost BERTHA ATUBIGA out there. We will be linking up with BERTHA pretty shortly to give us an update of the various gainers and losers of the equities and, of course, the stock markets, how it performed today. BERTHA, good evening. All right, so we can't have BERTHA for the stocks. Let's now move on to interview of the day. Financial analyst Charles Mensah has called for partnerships between local and foreign businesses to sustain foreign investments in the country.
Investors usually will go to a country where they can have quick returns on their investments. And quick return can come in when you have a certain sizable size of middle income group. And therefore, as we are climbing the middle income ladder, foreign investors will come more because there's an attraction, there's an attractiveness there. Let me take a typical example. You notice that much as we don't have too much of, in terms of size compared to Nigeria, we have a lot of banks, a lot of telcos in the system. Now, a lot of banks' products, financial products, are being deployed using the telcos. So people now sit back at home using a smartphone and doing financial transactions without physically walking into a bank to cash in. Now, if you're a foreign investor and you are coming in, you can monitor how the financial inclusion, how people are rushing to use the telcos, how people are doing it, and then you can decide, okay, I'm going to invest in an infrastructure in that sector. Apart from those in the going into the raw state of other things like cocoa, gold, and all those ones, the real consumption side is this sector. So the more you have the middle class or the purchasing power, the more investors will come in.
But how then do we sustain this kind of foreign investments coming into the country?
I think, I don't know whether the government can do as a policy, but to sustain any foreign investment would be based on partnership. Partnership, I'm referring to Ghanaian partners. So that if all the foreign investors, in a very subtle manner, if they can be asked to partner indigenes, to partner Ghanaians, then the sustainability will be there. Because once you partner somebody, even if you want to take a decision to exit, the business can stay because there's a local partner. If you don't partner people, what then happens is that if an issue arises in the home country of the investor or the shareholder or the shareholders of that particular foreign investor, and they take a decision abroad, a corporate office, it can affect them and they can take a decision, we are closing down from Ghana or we are closing down from Africa. Once that decision is taken, it has nothing to do with the economic growth of the country that they operate.
All right, so let's now touch base again with BERTHA ATUBIGA, research analyst, to bring us up to speed with the performance on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Good evening, BERTHA.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Now, so which stocks or equities performed creditably well this week?
Well, this week has been a very wonderful week. We've had ups and downs. We had the largest volumes of shares trading on Wednesday, over 9 million shares traded on the stock market. But as at the close of yesterday, we saw it drop to about 139,000 shares. And today, activity has not been much as compared to yesterday. Today, the total volumes of shares that traded on the market closed at 7,400 shares at 10,666 Ghana cedis in 21 transactions or trades. Now, if you look at the equities that even traded, we had just 4 equities traded with 2 movers. Standard Chartered Bank appreciated further today by a peso to close at 8 cedis 66 pesos after trading 400 shares. Yesterday, it went up by 3 pesos, and today it has added a peso to its previous share price. We, however, saw total, after trading 2,100 shares, go down by about 6 pesos, and it closed at, it didn't actually change. It was still trading at 1 cedi. No, it lost 2 pesos to close at 1 cedi 96 pesos per share. Previously, total was trading at 1 cedi 98 pesos per share. So these are the only movers we had for today. Cal traded at 1,200 shares and is still trading at 74 pesos per share. And we have Societe Generale also trading 3,700 shares, but still trading at 60 pesos per share.
All right, so what should be the projection for next week as the year gradually draws to a close?
Well, we shouldn't expect much trade to be going on the stock market, with the exception of block trades or maybe institutional investors coming in to buy lots of shares. But we should not expect much equities to move on their previous share prices as we draw near to the close of the year. However, there are some equities on the market that are, there's a possibility that they might go up further. For instance, Standard Chartered Bank has exhibited that potential, and we are sure that this equity by close of next week would either go up by a peso or 2 or remain stable.
All right, now any more information for us on the stock markets?
The stock market, what I will have to say is that this year we're not going to close on a very good note. We haven't had very good performances this year, though it has been an election year. And every election year, the stock market does very well, but this year was an exception, and we saw major indices going beyond 20 or declining by 20%. And as I speak to you, the composite index is hovering around negative 20% at its year-to-date return. And we are not going to end the year on a very good note. We should just know that.
All right, thank you very much, BERTHA, for that update. BERTHA Atubigha is a research analyst from Gold Coast Fund Management. Meanwhile, before we go, you can catch a snapshot of how the currencies are doing. The Ghana cedi is faring against the various trading currencies and how they'll be performing for the week. All right, so the US dollar is is going for 4 Ghana cedis 10 pesos and selling for 4 Ghana cedis 11 pesos. And the pound sterling is 5 Ghana cedis 10 pesos, also selling for 5 Ghana cedis 10 pesos. And the euro is also selling at 4 Ghana cedis 28 pesos and is being bought at 4 Ghana cedis 28 pesos. All right, so that will be it for Business Live for today. Thank you very much for your attention, and you have a great weekend as we bring you more developments in the world of business next Monday. Good evening.